And it's time to get an inside look at the Philipsburg-Osceola football team. We welcome on head coach Jeff Vroman alongside myself, Zach Sako, and co-host Jason Lord. Coach, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us via Zoom.
Sure thing. How are you?
We're great, and we're so glad that you could be a part of the show. Are your players with you?
Yes.
And you mind having all three of them introduce themselves?
I sure will. I'll start out. I'll have them come right over and tell them their name, the year, and then positions.
Hello, my name is Hunter Foster. I'm an offensive guard, and I'm in the class of 2024.
Hello, I'm Alex Knepp. I'm an offensive guard, and I'm in the class of 2024.
Hello, I'm Devyn Suhoney. I'm offensive tackle and class of 2023.
Perfect. We have the veterans and all the guys that make everything happen up front, the guys in the trenches. So, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us, and we're going to talk plenty about the 2022 season. But first, Coach, we'd like to ask about the 2021 season and a little bit of background on the program. The first question that Jason and I wanted to ask you was just, how has it been getting back to normal or some sense of normal as restrictions are loosened, as we continue to deal with the virus and kind of make our way through COVID? What has it been like to have those restrictions eased and get back to what has been the most normal season over the past couple of years?
Well, it's definitely been difficult. The 2 years that we had, the 2020 and then 2021 seasons, everything was so shortened, no weight program. Our preseason, of course, 2 years ago was very abbreviated. Last year, we were able to get in the weight room for about 2 months in the spring, which is definitely not normal. So finally this year, then, we're able to get back to a full weight program, which starts directly after Christmas. So that's going to be the big that's going to be the big thing for us this year. The noticeable change is that we're much stronger. And a lot of that comes from being able to have a weight program that began at the beginning of January and not at the beginning of June like it has the past two seasons. As far as practices, as far as equipment, that was difficult over that 2 year span as well. Making sure that you kept kids separated on a bus, even on an away game, making sure you're sterilizing or sanitizing equipment in between uses, whether it be blocking dummies, whether it be bags, things like that. So it was tough. It was not only from a coach's standpoint, but also from a kid's point of view, asking them to wear a mask all day in school, and then asking them to ride on a bus for an hour and a half to an away game with a mask on. It was definitely trying. And so we're definitely glad to be back to normal, I hope. And, of course, normalcy started with us in January in the weight room and now is continuing on into the summer.
And I'd like to ask the same thing from the players, their perspective. Devyn, since you are the senior, what has just been the most challenging thing to overcome through all of this? And then Hunter, will go to you and finish with Alex.
Probably the most challenging thing to deal with, like Coach said, the whole getting used to wearing masks in school and everything. I mean, the whole sanitizing everything after practice, that sort of thing. It was just, to me, it just seemed out of place, and it was honestly just really different from how I was used to playing football and everything. So,
Like Coach Vroman said, I mean, right when you're on a bus going to an away team game and you got to separate like on these different bus seats with 1 to 2 people per seat with a mask on, I mean, that's tiring just like mentally on yourself because, you know, prior to these COVID years, we could sit, you know, your 2 friends in the seat and you'd fill all of them with no spaces. And I feel like with having to separate, it ruins a little bit of morale because you can't be like right by each other, right by your team, and getting ready for that game. So I'd say that was probably the hardest thing to overcome was the whole distancing and just the general, because I feel like as a team you gotta be close, not just like in spirit, but also like physically and like getting hyped up for your games. And with that distancing and stuff, that's becomes hard to do.
Yeah, same as Coach said. Yeah, the masks in school and everything, and going on the bus and not being able to be as like close with your team and wearing a mask and everything, it just kind of like
Soft.
just kind of just threw us all off.
Philipsburg-Osceola football team is with us here on PA Prep Sports Breakdown. Head coach Jeff Vroman and senior offensive lineman Devyn Suhoney, as well as junior offensive lineman Hunter Foster and Alex Knepp.
And coach and guys as well, obviously the season is coming up on us very quickly here, about 6 Fridays away. How has the summer been so far as you start to get ready for 2022?
I would probably phrase it as busy. We go 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We do workouts in the morning, and then we're in the weight room. So we're on the field for approximately 2 hours, then another 45 minutes to an hour in the weight room on those 3 days. Thursday evenings, we'll have a defensive workout tomorrow night. Now, since July hit, we also every Tuesday evening go to Huntington with 6 other high schools, and we do some 7-on-7 work. And our linemen do a separate lineman challenge. So we're in the swing of it. But once again, it goes back to this is the first time we've been able to really get back into the full swing of it since I've been back 2 years ago. So the other thing is it teaches the kids to grind. They have to understand this is a grind. Football is not easy. I'd rather them get used to the grind now than when August hits. We do give them 10 days off. That first week of August there, the end of July, first week of August, before we get into heat acclimatization, they get that time off. But just knowing that it's tough. There's nights you get home late and you have to get up early in the morning and get back out here. I'd rather them learn that lesson now than in the second and third weeks of August.
And we'll go in that same order for the players again, Devyn, Hunter, and Alex. Your guys' thoughts on how the summer has been and where you guys have improved.
Like Coach said, definitely busy for sure. Overall, for how it's been, I would say that it's definitely been fun, and I've been learning a lot more than I have ever. I mean, the whole going down to Huntington, doing the 7-on-7 stuff, and the lineman challenges. Not only have I learned from them, but I enjoyed going to them and just proving to myself that I'm better than what I think I am. And not even just that, but coming to practice every day and, learning a lot more, getting better. It's giving me a lot more confidence going into my senior year that I can actually leave here knowing that I left a mark here and that I actually helped out something, whether it was, getting us to the playoffs this season or helping us manage to gain the experience to possibly change the future. So
briefly touching on what Devyn said, I agree with him. Going down to Huntington those Tuesday nights, that's been extreme help. When you go down there, offensive lineman, you're going against these other schools. You're just seeing just how much grit it takes to actually be an offensive lineman. I don't think a lot of people understand that it's a physical job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going up there and banging against pads on pads every play of that the whole game, which takes a lot of physical. It's a physical wear on your body. Not only that, but coming to the summer, I feel like this year the offensive line we have between me, Devyn, and Alex, just the chemistry we built last year. Me and Alex's first year on the varsity. With Devyn helped me a lot my first year. He continues to help me still now. So I feel coming in out of the summer, getting ready for August and Heat Week and stuff, I'm really happy with the bond our offensive line has. I think a lot of great things are to come for this season.
Yeah. This summer it's been going really well actually compared to last year. We have more people showing up this year than last year. I feel like we're all working harder and together, which I feel like is going to make this year go a lot more smooth. And yeah.
Philipsburg-Osceola football is with us. Head coach Jeff Vroman and offensive lineman Devyn Suhoney, Hunter Foster, and Alex Knepp. Coach, before we go to break real quick, and then we'll continue our conversation more so around the 2022 season, but this one specifically for you, Coach Vroman. What has been, because you're such a seasoned coach, you're a veteran when it comes to high school football, especially in central Pennsylvania, and you've had the multiple stints now with PO. You coached in the early 2000s through the early 2000 teens as well, and now here in the 2020 decade. How has high school football just in general changed in front of your eyes? What have been, not necessarily even whether it's challenges or something that's rewarding, just how has the game, maybe the logistics of the sports changed for you?
Well, I started coaching high school football back in 1991. So that was my first season. So this year, coaching-wise, I guess will be, 31? So over 31 years, I've noticed a huge change in, of course, offensive schematics. Everyone now spreading the football around, going 4 wide, a lot of vertical routes from receivers. They're getting away from a lot of power football. So I do think, though, technique-wise, in the past, we taught more technique. Today, too many schools, I think, rely on 7-on-7s, and it's basically turned into backyard football. When back in the 90s, we were so focused on being fundamentally sound because of the run game, where you had to mix in a little bit of the pass. I thought kids were better fundamental football players back then, simply because we spent more time like that. And I also think that the coaches and the players paid more attention to detail. I don't see enough of that today, but I also believe that we've cut down to 1 scrimmage now, so our preseason is much shorter, which I totally disagree with. Now, we do more, of course, in the summer, but with the PIAA and the restrictions that they put on us with football, which they don't in many other sports, we can't be man on man. At some point, we have to have a bag in between us if we're trying to practice a technique, whether it be a blocking technique or a defensive shedding technique, whatever. We have to have a pad in between us. And a lot of that, I think, has limited not only the teaching, but also the learning of fundamentals. And as I said before, it used to be 2-a-days. That was a 2-week period where you spent 2 full weeks. You had 2 full scrimmages. You basically had 3 weeks of practice, with 2 of those weeks being double sessions to prepare for that first game. So I really noticed a drop off, in my opinion, of the fundamentals because of that. But with saying that, kids are still kids, and I guess we have to realize that. They do have to have some time away. I know it's just a demanding sport because we don't have a lot of time before that first game. It requires us to do a lot in the summer, but you also need to give them, like, weekends. We do nothing on the weekends. We give them that time, spend with their family, their friends, because they need to be kids. The opportunities that they have grown, whether it be through recruiting or being noticed by college coaches because of the internet, social media, things like that. Social media has been a plus in that way, but I also think social media can be a negative thing. So yeah, there are a lot of different things, a lot of changes. But as I said, in the end, kids are kids. It's nice to see them grow up. It's nice to see them mature. And then when you have kids that go out and are hugely successful as citizens, that definitely makes the job even more rewarding.
I think that's a very interesting perspective and why I wanted to ask it, to see how the game has changed over 30 years. Coach, thank you for that. We're going to take a quick timeout, 90 seconds. We'll be back in 90 seconds here on ESPN Radio with our conversation around Philipsburg-Osceola football on PA Prep Sports Breakdown. He's Jason Lord. I'm Zach Sako. Thanks for joining us on PA Prep Sports Breakdown. And live via Zoom, we have the Philipsburg-Osceola football team, head coach Jeff Vroman, along with players Devyn Suhoney, Hunter Foster, and Alex Knepp. Gentlemen, again, thank you so much for your time. Now our conversation is going to be tailored around the 2022 season and the expectations. Jason, I'll let you ask away and open up this segment.
I know, Devyn, you guys had said more people going out this year, and I'll ask Coach as well as Devyn, Hunter, and Alex as well. How much has the numbers game, for the most part, how much has it helped now having more people going out? Obviously, Coach, over the years, being a AA school, it's been tough at times with the depth. How much does it help now having more of that?
Well, I guess I'm going to start off real quick because, first of all, I guess we have to look at how things were the year before I came back. The year before I came back, they basically took a vote after the 8th game to end the season, which definitely did not help. The first year, we were, and both years, we've been very competitive. I mean, we won 4 football games, and the first year we played 7. Last year we were able to play 10, but we very easily could have won. Probably should have won at least 10 of those games. It's a growing process. Right now, we're probably going to field 10 more kids in uniform. We're probably going to be around 35, 36 on game night, and that's virtually kids in 10, 11, and 12. There won't be many freshmen brought up. We'll play a separate 7th, 8th, and 9th grade schedule still. But, numbers are low everywhere, but I'm very pleased with our numbers. Our numbers are increasing where many of the other ones are definitely dropping. But I'll let the kids comment on that. I just wanted to me, I'm very pleased with it. I also think it's the kids are starting to see the program pick up a little bit. So I think that has helped the interest. But I'll let the kids comment about the number situation over the last couple of years.
I mean, like Coach said, numbers have definitely gotten better and everything. I believe that with us, me as a senior and Hunter and Alex as juniors, with us like going around our school and asking more kids, hey, do you want to play football? That definitely had a big change. And it wasn't even just that, but it was also like years previous with how good we were doing, how much we were changing the program, kind of bringing it back. It kind of caught a lot of kids' attentions and basically got them to be like, I want to try it out. I will say there has definitely been a lot more showing up than in the previous years that I played. I mean, I remember back in like my freshman year, we only had like 10 kids show up during like summer workouts and that. And then sophomore year, Roman shows up and kind of explains that he's willing to change the program, that he's determined to. You start to get more kids as years go by. And then now I definitely see there's been a big change. And okay, I'm very pleased with it.
I mean, like Devyn and Coach Roman said, I'd have to agree. I'm pleased with how many kids we have coming out to these summer workouts. Compared to last year, about every year I've ever played football, either on a varsity or junior varsity or junior high level for the Mounties program. The dedication and work the kids we have coming out this summer with the increased numbers that's been put in is definitely 10 times, 100 times better than before. The new kids coming out, it really helps us because it's given them an experience to learn. It's also giving us more people to learn with, which I think is a very important thing. Because when you're in a lackluster for kids and you're trying to practice a technique or something, and it's not as effective doing it on a bag as it is another human being, because when it comes to Friday night, when we're at a game, we're not hitting bags, we're hitting other people who are hitting you back. So,
Yeah. Whenever, it helps a lot more because last year we'd have about 15, not even. We had probably about 10 kids coming to summer workouts, and this year we're having an average of like 17 to 20. So it really is helping us like get more together as a team and progress and get better and better every day.
Philipsburg-Osceola football is with us. Head coach Jeff Vroman, along with offensive linemen Devyn Suhoney, Hunter Foster, and Alex Knepp. We're under 5 minutes, so we're in crunch time now on the show. Coach, I wanted to ask you to give the listeners and the fans some feedback on how the offense and the defense are going to look this year. You like that tough smash mouth football. You said that teams have gotten away from just the classic football of ground and pound. But for PO, without showing all the cards in hand, what your plans are for the offense and defense, especially with losing all the senior leaders that led the offense and defense from a year ago.
Yeah, as far as just returners go, we're returning over half of the offense and then also half of our defense, which is huge. Last year we had a lot of sophomores that started. Some had to start both ways. 30 years, like I said, 30 years ago, I was told that's not a good thing. When you count how many sophomores you have out there, that's probably how many losses you're going to end up with, and that more or less holds true. But those sophomores went through a lot of growing pains last year. Now it's time for them to step up as juniors, support the senior group. I think that'll definitely be crucial for us, especially early on. Offensively, we're going to be a lot different this year. We're gonna be spreading some people out. We've got a bunch of backs that we're gonna run. It's not gonna be a one-man show. It's not gonna be a two-man show. Like to get as in the past when we've had really good football teams, we're able to run 5 or 6 different guys, and that's something that I see us doing this year. I've also been very pleased with the receivers. We have a number of those, so that's going to help us spread some things out. Will our philosophy change? Yes, it is going to change. We're going to be much more wide open offensively. There are times when we want to be able to line it up and smash it right at you, but there are also times when we want to be able to spread you out and use some finesse. And I think we're going to be able to do both of those things. Workouts in the morning, we talk about number-wise. We start getting over 20 kids a day. That's where we're at on average. And we're able to get a lot of that done here in the summer. Defensively, we're going to be in a multiple 4-5 front, even and odd, depends on what they give us. I'm pleased with the returners that we have coming back up inside on the defensive line, Devyn being one of them. I think we're going to have a nice rotation in there of 5 or 6 kids. With those down tackle positions, that definitely helps you, especially during the third and fourth quarter of a football game. We get to the second level, quite a few linebackers that got a lot of playing time. I like that. We are going to move some kids. We have some kids that got a lot bigger and a lot stronger, so we're going to be able to move them to the perimeter on the defensive ends, take care of that perimeter of the defense. And then in the secondary, we have a lot of kids returning. So that definitely bodes well defensively as well. And then kicker. We have a kicker back. He was in 9th grade. He's going to be a good one, Carson Long. That's another worry I don't have for the next 3 years. So all in all, very pleased with the youth movement and everything they've done so far this year.
And got about a minute, guys. Just to Alex, to Hunter, to Devyn, just real quickly, what are your goals for this year upcoming?
Yeah, how would this season look? What would make this season successful for you guys? We'll go in that same order. Devyn, Hunter, and Alex. And like I said, we're under our 2-minute mark here.
I got about probably 3 main goals I'd like to achieve, and honestly, not even just for myself, but for the team. One being us definitely having a better record than years previous. I would love nothing more than to possibly get the playoffs, but Second one would probably have to be, honestly, for me personally, just kind of like every dude that I see, beat the living crap out of him and really prove a point and tell him, like, look, it's my territory. I do what I do. And then probably the third one, just honestly leave here knowing that I allowed Hunter and Alex and every other one of the younger guys to learn off of what I've done. So,
Hunter and Alex, we got a minute left. You guys got to split it 30 seconds, 30 seconds. How is this season a success for you? Hunter, go.
I mean, honestly, I just have one big goal. I think it's a pretty simple one: win football games. I believe with the guys we have going into this, all 11 stars of this offense, defense, and everyone else, is behind us to support us. I believe 100% in us, and I think this team has the chance to go a lot of places this season.
Yeah, same. I think we will do a lot better than last year, and I think we have a good potential to make playoffs this year.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time. Philipsburg-Osceola, the football team, joining us here on PA Prep Sports Breakdown. Head coach Jeff Vroman, along with offensive linemen Devyn Suhoney, Hunter Foster, and Alex Knepp. Thanks so much for your time, guys.